I'm going to do my Central Division predictions for standing. So first I have the Chicago Blackhawks. So with signing Brian Campbell in the offseason, this really makes them have a solid defense. Pretty good top four defense. They've been relying on the big three defense for quite a while, so having that fourth defense is going to be pretty good for them. They have obviously solid centers with Taves being the first line or second line center, depends. And Artem Anisimov either being the first or second line center, and then Marcus Krug being the third line center. That's pretty solid centers. So with good defense and good goaltending with Crawford, he's able to provide the amount of goaltending they're going to need. They should easily finish first in this division. Next, I have the Dallas Stars, who finished first last year, but I see them slide down just a little bit. Only because Chicago is going to get better goaltending than Dallas, I believe. But so obviously Dallas has that great first line with Sharp, Sagan, and Jamie Benn. So they're going to have a dynamic first line. And the signing of Dan Hamhuis will help their defense. But with average goaltending, I don't see them finishing ahead of Chicago. Third, I have the Nashville. So they didn't change much as to their offensive lines or their offense throughout the offseason. But they do have a really deep top nine. So their biggest move was trading Shea Weber for PK Subban. With Subban being 4 years younger than Weber, this is going to help the team in the future for sure, if not showing this year. And then, so they have a pretty good offensive core, and they have some pretty solid D. Plus, Pekka Rinne can provide the top 5 goaltender numbers. He could be in the Vezina conversation this year, as he's proven that in the years past. So I think he's going to help them quite a bit and should at least get them to third place in this division. Fourth place, I have the St. Louis Blues. So losing Backus and his leadership is going to hurt them a little bit. Plus, adding Perron does not compensate for what they lose in Backus. They have a great first line, and their solid defense will hold them into the games. But Allen has to prove he can be a #1 starter with playing 60 to 65 games. He's proven that his numbers are pretty good, that he could be a #1, but he's never played that many games before in his NHL career, so we'll have to see if he can withstand the amount of games and provide the numbers that he is. So next, so fifth in the division, I would have Winnipeg Jets. So Laine should at least get 40 to 45 points. I think he might get more than that, but I'm just going to say around there. And Scheifele looks like he's ready to make that big jump and be that big #1 center that they wanted when they drafted him. He had a good World Championships at the end of the season, so that's a good sign for them. They have a pretty good defense, but the goaltending is unproven and not having a clear-cut #1, because they have 3 goalies that they could put in #1, but they're not sure who's the #1 is going to be. This could hurt them. It's kind of like Ottawa's situation last year, where they had 2 or 3 goalies that they could play as #1, but they couldn't really decide on who. Next, I have Minnesota Wild. This is the one team I'm predicting that's going to do a pretty big fall. They signed Stahl to a 3-year deal, and I don't know if he has that bounce back season in him, because even though after he was traded from Carolina, he didn't really put up good points with the Rangers, so I'm not sure if he can bounce back. And Parise is 32 right now, so he's just starting the age where you really start to decline. So I'm not sure if he can put up the same amount of points that he has been. And then, so they got a pretty good top 4 defense, but Devin Dubnyk returned to the numbers, like his numbers returned to his average throughout his career, pretty much. They were pretty close. They're a little higher than his average for his career, but they weren't as good as that 2 years ago. His numbers 2 years ago. He had a really good season 2 years ago. So with average goaltending, I don't see them scoring enough to be able to make the playoffs this year. And last is the Colorado. So they have a good deep forwards and some decent D, and Varlamov could steal some games. So on paper, they have a team that could finish higher than last in this division. But the last couple of years, their analytics have been horrible. They were last in the league last year, and having to find a coach this late in the off season, so they're almost starting. Training camp's going to start pretty soon, right after the World Cup of Hockey. So having to find a coach this late in the season, I don't see it being beneficial to them. And unless they change those analytic numbers, I know it was not everything, but analytics is taking over the game pretty much. That I don't like that. I like just to watch hockey, and I don't really bother with the analytic numbers. But being 30th in the league, it's pretty bad. So unless they can change that, I don't see them producing any more points than would put them last in this division. So like if you like it, comment if you liked it, didn't like it, what videos do you think I should do in the future, and subscribe. I want to say thank you for my new subscribers. When I started this channel, I wasn't expecting to get very many views or subscribers. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I've reached over 200 views and 5 subscribers, so I appreciate that, and have a nice day.